Most travelers think they know Portugal. They visit the famous cities, the crowded beaches, the landmarks seen in every guidebook. But there's another Portugal, one that quietly waits beyond the crowds and cameras. It's a Portugal of forgotten villages carved from stone, of cliffside towns untouched by time, of coastal secrets where the ocean still speaks in whispers. This isn't the Portugal of postcards. It's older, wilder, and far more beautiful. In this journey, we'll leave behind the highways and head into the heart of the hidden. We'll climb mountains where villages blend into rock. We'll walk streets where the only sound is your footsteps on cobblestone. And we'll stand on cliffs where the land falls away into the Atlantic, and no one else is watching. These are places that don't try to impress. They simply exist, quietly, proudly, and almost invisibly. But once you see them, you'll never forget them. This is the Portugal most tourists never see, but you're about to. In the heart of central Portugal lies a village so unique, it seems like nature and architecture struck a mysterious deal. Homes aren't just next to rocks here. They're built inside, under, and between them. Giant granite boulders dominate the landscape, and instead of removing them, the villagers adapted. Roofs lean into stones the size of trucks, doorways curve to fit beneath ancient formations, and staircases wrap around immovable rock. This village feels more like a living sculpture than a town. Narrow lanes twist between massive stones and tiny dwellings. Some houses have boulders for ceilings. Others are pressed so tightly into rock that sunlight barely reaches their windows. But far from dark or gloomy, it feels solid, eternal, like the village is part of the earth itself. From the hilltop fortress ruins, panoramic views stretch across olive groves, fields, and distant mountain ranges. The silence is profound. No highways, no large crowds, just the wind, the birds, and the echo of footsteps on stone. Despite its ancient appearance, the village is alive. Locals greet visitors with quiet warmth. Gardens bloom in stone terraces. A small chapel, simple and beautiful, stands between two house-sized rocks. The past and present live side by side. This is a place where nature wasn't conquered, it was embraced. And in doing so, the villagers created something truly rare, a living monument to resilience, harmony, and beauty. Deep in the mountains, where the roads narrow and the forest thickens, there's a village that seems to emerge like a dream. Built entirely from dark slate stone, the homes blend into the mountainside. But every door, every window frame, is painted in the same striking shade of blue, a tradition kept alive for generations. This splash of color gives the village a magical feel, especially at dusk when lights begin to glow behind the windows and the blue doors catch the last light of day. From a distance, it looks like a glowing labyrinth nestled in the hills. The streets are too narrow for cars. Instead, stone steps lead between terraces and rooftops. Flowers bloom from pots and windows, and ivy creeps across walls. The village feels like it has grown organically, following the shape of the land. In the center, a white church offers contrast, the only bright structure in a sea of stone and blue. It's a gathering point for festivals, weddings, and quiet moments of reflection. Surrounding the village are mountain trails that lead to hidden springs, natural pools, and waterfalls. The air smells of pine and moss. The silence here is different, not empty but alive. Birds call in the distance, water flows softly nearby, your heartbeat slows. This is not a village for speed, it's for walking, for listening, for feeling the earth beneath your feet and realizing how beautiful simplicity can be. Life here hasn't changed much, and that's exactly why people fall in love with it. In the heart of a dense forest, hidden from sight and almost forgotten by time, sits a village that once faced abandonment. Overgrown paths, moss-covered roofs, and crumbling stone walls tell a story of years without human voices. But not all stories end in silence. This one is about return and revival. Years ago, a few visionaries saw more than decay. They saw potential. Slowly, they rebuilt the houses, kept the original materials, and respected the soul of the place. Today, this village stands as a quiet sanctuary, a restored ghost village brought back to life. The buildings are made of dark forest stone. The doors are low, the windows small, thick woods surround every side. There are no stores, no signs, just nature and stone, and the occasional light in a window at night. Visitors who find their way here often describe the same thing, a deep sense of peace. Maybe it's the lack of distractions. Maybe it's the sound of wind through pine trees. Or maybe it's the knowledge that not everything lost is gone forever. The village is now home to writers, artists, and people who seek quiet. They tend to their homes, grow their food, and live with the seasons. Walking through the village is like entering a living memory of a time when people built with their hands, lived close to the land, and knew their neighbors by name. This place is more than a destination. It's proof that silence can heal, that forgotten places can return, and that beauty never truly disappears. Perched on a hill in Portugal's interior is a place where, honestly, time seems to have stopped. Surrounded by stone walls and towers, this village looks almost exactly as it did hundreds of years ago. From the moment you pass through its ancient gate, you're stepping into the past. Not a replica, but the real thing. Cobblestone streets wind through clusters of stone houses, most of them untouched by modern changes. Ivy grows across the walls. Wooden shutters creak in the wind. Arched windows frame quiet rooms lit by candlelight and sunlight alone. The silence here isn't empty. It's powerful. There are no large hotels, no tourist buses, no souvenir shops blasting music. Instead, you find a town square with a stone well, locals chatting in the shade, and families who have lived here for generations. It's not frozen. It's alive, but gently, quietly, with rhythm and pride. The village's centerpiece is its castle. Built of massive stone blocks, it watches over the land like a guardian. From the ramparts, the view is stunning. Rolling hills, farmlands, and distant mountains under a vast blue sky. It's easy to see why the site was chosen long ago. Defensible, beautiful, and rich in natural resources. Wandering the ramparts, you can almost hear echoes from the past. The sound of armor, the murmur of guards, the soft rush of banners in the wind. It's one of the most complete medieval villages in the country, and every detail feels authentic. Even the homes, restaurants, and inns are part of the experience. Meals are prepared with local ingredients, often served in centuries-old stone rooms. Guests sleep in rooms once occupied by knights and nobles, now carefully restored for comfort while preserving the soul of the place. This village doesn't need to reinvent itself. Its power lies in its truth, untouched, unhurried, unforgettable. Hidden in the folds of a lush valley, surrounded by thick forest and quiet trails, lies a village that looks more like a painting than a real place. At its heart is a stone bridge, arching gently over a crystal-clear river. On either side of the bridge are tiny stone houses, built into the slope of the land, their roofs blending into the hills. The river below is more than just beautiful, it's alive. Locals swim in its natural pools, small waterfalls tumble over mossy rocks. The sound of rushing water is a constant, calming presence. In summer, sunlight dances on the surface. In winter, mist rises in the morning, giving the whole valley a dreamlike feel. This place has remained a secret mostly because it's not easy to reach. You need to follow narrow mountain roads, sometimes on foot, sometimes by car. But once you arrive, the reward is immediate. Peace, stillness, and beauty that feels untouched by the modern world. The stone bridge, weathered but strong, is the village's icon. It has stood for centuries, connecting people and paths. Today, it also connects generations, grandparents teaching children to swim in the pools, hikers stopping to rest in the shade, and visitors pausing to take in the view. Unlike large towns, there is no noise here. No traffic, no fast food, no rush. Time bends. Hours pass slowly, meals are long, conversations are real. Even the air feels softer, carrying the scent of flowers, water, and wood smoke. This is a place for those who want more than sights. It's for those who want feeling, the kind that lingers long after the trip is over. On the edge of the Atlantic, where the cliffs rise high and the sea crashes below, there is a village that seems to hang between sky and water. Whitewashed houses sit perched on a steep cliffside, stacked like dominoes, overlooking the vast ocean. This village is small, but the view is endless. From the narrow streets above, you can look down onto the waves below, where rocks break the surf and spray rises into the air. The sound of the ocean is always present, filling the space between buildings, echoing off stone walls. There is no need for music here. The sea provides its own. The architecture is simple but beautiful. Clean white walls reflect the sun. Red tile roofs add warmth. Balconies are filled with flowers. It feels like a postcard, but it's real, and it's lived in. Beneath the cliff, a seawater pool sits carved into the rock, filled by the tide and protected from the waves. On calm days, locals swim in it. On wild days, the ocean crashes against its walls, sending spray into the sky. There's a small restaurant here, built into the rock, serving fresh seafood with salt in the air and ocean at your feet. Despite its location, the village feels grounded. It hasn't been turned into a tourist trap. It's still a place where people live, where fishing boats come and go, and where every sunset feels like a private show. Few places capture the drama and peace of coastal life as well as this one. It is a place of wind, water, and stone, where the land meets the sea in one perfect, unforgettable moment. Along the far eastern stretch of Portugal's southern coast, where the land begins to bend towards Spain, lies a coastal village that most travelers miss entirely. It's not on the typical beach maps. There are no massive resorts. Instead, you'll find a single row of whitewashed homes facing the sea, with ancient stone walls, a crumbling fortress, and, honestly, some of the best ocean views in the entire Algarve. This village, perched gently on a bluff above golden sands, is a quiet contrast to the crowded beach towns to the west. Time seems slower here. You can walk the entire place in just a few minutes, but every step reveals something beautiful. An old fisherman repairing nets, a dog sleeping in the shade, a view so wide it seems to swallow the horizon. What makes this place truly special is its silence. Even in summer, the beaches below remain peaceful. The sand is soft and pale. The water is calm and shallow. At low tide, you can walk out for hundreds of feet, past tidal pools and scattered shells, with the sound of waves growing quieter with each step. A small white church overlooks it all, standing alone near the edge of the cliffs. It has stood watch for centuries, offering shelter to sailors and hope to villagers. From here you can see both sunrise and sunset. The sky turns soft purple in the evening, the sea reflecting the last light of day. There's a simplicity here that's hard to explain. It's not just quiet, it's peaceful. The kind of peace that seeps into you, that follows you long after you've left. If you want to disappear for a day, to think, to breathe, to walk without direction, this is the place to come. This is a corner of Portugal that has held onto its soul. No noise, no rush, just sea, sand, and the silence of a world that remembers how to rest. Now we head further west along the southern coast, into a region known not for luxury, but for its raw, untouched power. Here, the cliffs are higher, the wind stronger, and the beaches harder to reach. And that's exactly what makes them perfect. This stretch of coastline is home to hidden beaches only accessible by footpaths or dirt tracks. Tall cliffs drop straight into the sea, forming narrow inlets and coves that feel completely isolated from the world. The Atlantic here is different. Darker, stronger, with waves that crash and churn with endless energy. One beach might have red cliffs and golden sand. Another just 10 minutes away could be made entirely of smooth stones and surrounded by green moss-covered rocks. No two places are the same, and because many of them are difficult to reach, you often have them to yourself. The villages near these beaches are simple. Small white homes, a few cafes, maybe a surf shop or a bakery. You won't find shopping centers or beachfront clubs. You'll find silence, wildflowers, and the occasional hiker or surfer drawn to the quiet beauty of the land. This region is also known for its walking trails, paths that run along the cliffs offering views that feel like the edge of the world. One moment, you're walking through a pine forest. The next, the trees part and you're standing above an endless sea, the cliffs beneath you dropping away like a stone stairway into blue. Everywhere you look, nature dominates. There are no loud signs, no billboards, just wind, waves, and the clean line where sea meets sky. Sunsets here are unforgettable. The cliffs glow, the ocean shifts from blue to gold to black, and as the stars appear, the land seems to fall asleep, leaving you in a world where only the elements speak. This is Portugal, wild and pure, not polished for tourists, but proud, free, and completely unforgettable. Tucked between the cliffs and dunes of Portugal's southwest coast is a village that surfers have known about for decades, but most travelers still overlook. It's a place where the ocean rules, where life moves to the rhythm of tides, and where silence stretches as far as the wind can carry it. This village sits close to some of the best surf beaches in the country, long stretches of sand pounded by powerful Atlantic swells. The landscape here is wide and open. No high-rise buildings, no shopping streets, just wooden walkways through dunes, a few quiet roads, and a constant view of the sea. The village itself is small and simple. A church, a grocery store, a cafe or two. Surfboards lean against whitewashed walls, wetsuits dry on balconies, Chickens wander through gardens. There are no crowds here, even in summer. Just travelers who come to disconnect, not from the world, but from noise. The beaches are breathtaking. Some are wide open with long rolling waves, perfect for longboard riders. Others are tucked between cliffs, protected from the wind and surrounded by towering rock walls. At sunrise, the beaches are empty. By sunset, a few small fires burn as surfers cook their dinner and locals watch the sky turn red. The dunes are alive too. They shift with the wind, dotted with wild plants and bright flowers. Small birds flutter between bushes. Paths crisscross the sand, leading to lookout points or quiet spots where the wind is soft and the sound of the ocean is all you hear. This village is not for luxury travelers, it's for seekers, people who want quiet mornings, salty air, strong coffee, and a connection to something real. It's not glamorous, it's honest. The kind of place you come to for 3 days and stay for 3 weeks without even meaning to. Here, Portugal isn't about performance, it's about presence. And this little surf village, lost in sand and sea, proves that sometimes the best places are the ones that ask nothing from you, except that you stay a little longer. Tucked inland, away from the sea and the tourist trails, is a town that seems untouched by time. It sits between gentle hills, where clear springs flow from the earth and small waterfalls tumble over stone. Everything here is white, the houses, the church, even the walls lining the narrow cobbled streets. But you know, it's not just the color that gives this town its brightness, it's the energy. Quiet, slow, and deeply rooted. This is a town built around water. In the center, a natural spring fills a long stone basin where locals still gather to wash clothes, cool their feet, or collect fresh water in bottles. Above it, a waterfall spills gently over mossy rocks, feeding a stream that runs through gardens and into the hills. The town itself is a web of narrow alleys and winding steps. No building is higher than 2 stories. Bougainvillea spills from balconies. Every door seems to be slightly open, as if inviting you in. Life here moves softly. Mornings begin with church bells and the scent of bread from local bakeries. Afternoons stretch slowly under the shade of olive trees. There's no rush in this town, no schedules. It's a place where people still pause to say hello, where children play in the square, and where the loudest sound might be a bird or the chime of a distant bell. In the evenings, locals gather at the edge of the town where the stream widens into a pool, cooled by the forest that surrounds it. People swim, picnic, and talk as the sun dips behind the hills. And when night falls, it's silent. No cars, no neon lights, just the sound of water and crickets, and the occasional laughter drifting down from a terrace. It's the kind of silence that doesn't feel empty. It feels like peace. This whitewashed town, surrounded by green, is a reminder that beauty doesn't need to be loud. Sometimes it just flows quietly like spring water through the heart of a place. On the southern coast of Portugal, not far from the border with Spain, is a small fishing town unlike any other. It sits along a calm river inlet that flows gently into the Atlantic. The beaches here are soft and shallow. The boats are small and colorful. And everywhere you go, you'll hear about one thing: octopus. This town is known as the octopus capital of Portugal. For generations, fishermen here have caught them using traditional clay pots, lowered carefully into the sea and checked daily. It's a quiet, sustainable method, and it shows in the food. Almost every restaurant serves octopus in dozens of ways: grilled, stewed, roasted, sliced thin in salad, or charred with garlic and olive oil. Each dish is a tribute to the sea. But this town offers more than just great food. It offers calm. The river that cuts through the town creates natural lagoons, protected from wind and waves. Families gather here in the early morning and late afternoon. Children splash in the warm shallows while parents sip coffee from nearby patios. The buildings are low and white with blue trim and tiled details. The streets are clean and simple. You won't find crowds. Just a few shops, a local market, and a strong sense of community. At the edge of town, wooden walkways stretch across the wetlands, where birds feed and fish leap. It's a great place to walk, think, or just stand and watch the tide rise and fall. In the evenings, as the sun sets across the water, the whole town glows orange and pink. Locals gather at their favorite spots: benches facing the river, terraces above the beach, or boats tied at the dock. Stories are told, plates are shared, and time slows down. This town is proof that life near the sea doesn't need to be fast or loud. Sometimes it's better when it's quiet, fresh, and full of flavor. Deep in the countryside, far from the coast and the capital, there's a village that carries the weight of centuries. It's a place of wide plains, rolling farmland, and stone houses that seem to sit firmly in the earth. Life here is old, but not forgotten. This village has a beating heart, one shaped by tradition, celebration, and a deep respect for the past. At first glance, the village seems still. A few shops, a single main square, rows of white houses with red tile roofs. But listen closer, and you'll hear the hum of life. Bakers rising before dawn, farmers tending olive groves, children playing in alleys where their grandparents once played. Every year, this village becomes the center of something extraordinary, one of Portugal's oldest fairs. It dates back centuries, a gathering of people from across the region to trade, celebrate, and connect. Livestock, crafts, tools, and food. It all comes together in a celebration that lasts for days. During the fair, the streets come alive with music and movement. Horses parade through the main square. Stalls appear overnight, selling everything from handmade leather goods to roasted chestnuts. Folk dancers perform in traditional dress, their steps telling stories that go back generations. But even when the fair ends, the village remains rich with tradition. People here still bake bread in shared ovens. They press olive oil by hand. Weddings are big and full of song, and elders still sit at their doors, watching the world pass by, offering greetings to everyone who walks past. The rhythm of life in this village isn't fast. It's steady, rooted. It respects the land, the seasons, and the stories passed down by those who came before. And for travelers who step off the highway and take the small road into town, it offers something rare: connection. Not just to a place, but to a way of life. In a world moving too fast, this village shows us how to hold on to history, to community, and to the beauty of the simple things. Far in the north of Portugal, beyond the rivers and plains, and deep within the country's only national park, lies a mountain village surrounded by wild beauty. It's not easy to get here. The road winds through rocky hills, pine forests, and fog-covered ridges. But at the end of that road is a village that feels like the last outpost of human life, remote, rugged, and real. This is a place where wolves still roam in the mountains, where ancient stone paths lead to waterfalls and ruined towers, and where the sky stretches wide above untouched land. The village itself is made of gray stone, homes built to endure wind, snow, and isolation. Roofs are steep, walls are thick, and every structure seems shaped by necessity and time. There is strength here, in the land, in the buildings, and in the people who still live in them. Winters are harsh, summers are short, but the connection to nature is deep. Life here is not fast or modern, but it is grounded, and that's exactly what makes it extraordinary. From the edge of the village, trails lead into the wild. You can walk for hours without seeing another person. Just trees, cliffs, birds, and silence. Some trails lead to ancient stone bridges hidden in the woods. Others follow mountain streams to glacial lakes. Along the way, you'll find ruins of old watchtowers, shepherd shelters, and maybe even a herd of wild horses. The village has a small chapel, a handful of homes, and a few families who've lived here for generations. They know the land. Every bend in the road, every hidden spring, every storm that rolls through the hills. They live with the rhythms of nature, not against them. This is Portugal at its most untamed, not just scenic but wild. And in this mountain village, you don't just visit the wilderness, you become part of it. What you've seen today is only a glimpse. Portugal is filled with places like these, silent villages lost in the hills, coastlines that breathe with the rhythm of the ocean, and people living quiet lives in places the world forgot. But it doesn't stop here. There are more countries to explore, more hidden corners, more breathtaking destinations waiting to be uncovered. Not the ones you find on every top 10 list, but the ones you only find if you go deeper, stay longer, and look closer. This channel is your guide to that world. If this journey moved you, if it made you want to slow down, travel differently, or simply see the beauty that still exists off the tourist path, then subscribe now, not tomorrow, now. Be part of something different, because here, we don't just show places, we reveal the soul of them. And the next chapter of this adventure is already being written. So join us. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell to never miss a destination. And together, let's keep exploring the wonders the world has been hiding all along. Your journey doesn't end here. It's just beginning.